Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to The Playful Life. I am your host, Crystal, the Playful Trainer. I'm so happy that you're joining me here today. If you are here live in the morning, good for you for getting up and joining us here so early. If you're watching a replay, that's awesome too. I want to let you know that The Playful Life is brought to you by The Playful Journal, my 12-week guide to a more playful life. And it is built over the course of 12 weeks, but you can do it in 12 days, 12 months. I mean, however you want, you can live the playful life and just tap into your inner playfulness and start living life to the fullest. Also, this show is brought to you by my 21-day Get Healthy Challenge that I'm very excited to share with you, and you're going to want to stick around to the end so that you can find out how to join me and all the details about that and a fun little giveaway that we're doing. So today on the podcast, I have such an awesome woman, and I really believe that God brings people into your life at the right time and with such purpose. And I have been, in the health and wellness industry for quite a few years. Most of you know, about 16 plus years. It's crazy to even say that, but most recently sort of transitioned or added, if you will, health coaching to my services that I bring to people. And so, especially in quarantine, I was thinking, well, how can I, really bring like a virtual health coaching program to people where, I don't have to see them face to face, and people are going to really need something that keeps them healthy during all this stress. So I found, a great program, and Barbara came into my life and just has really been an awesome mentor and has taught me so much about my health and how to help people with their health. And so I'm very, very happy to have her here. Guys, if you are a person or someone in your life, maybe a loved one or a friend, one of your parents that is dealing with, cholesterol or high blood pressure, glucose problems, blood sugar, just weight in general, somebody who needs to maybe gain weight or lose weight, this podcast is going to give you so much good information that I don't want you to keep it a secret. I want you to share it. So if you're watching live with us, you can share a watch party on your Facebook like we did. Or, of course, you could always share this at a later time, Facebook or YouTube. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Barbara. She is a personal trainer, an integrative nutrition health coach, and also a weight loss specialist. And she's just such an awesome burst of energy, and I just love her so much. So here we welcome Barbara. Hi, good morning.
Hello, Crystal. Good morning. Boy, you get up early.
I slept in a little bit today, actually. 5:30 a.m. was my go time this morning, but we talked about I'm an excellent napper, so don't be fooled.
Napping is very important.
Yes.
Napping a strong endorsement.
And Barbara, you're on the East Coast, right? In sunny Florida.
I live in Miami Beach. Not too shabby.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said they just opened the beach yesterday, right?
Yesterday, we've been in quarantine for 3 months, and yesterday was the first day they opened the beach. It was so exciting. We just couldn't wait to get in the water, and I was in the water 5 minutes when I saw a shark. It was really,
oh my goodness. The sharks are probably like, where were all the people?
I think the shark was shocked to have all these people be back in the water. I tell you, Michael Phelps had nothing on me. I swam so fast. I'm glad I can laugh about it today.
Right. Oh, definitely. But that's because you're in such good shape that you can do that. You can run from a shark, so to speak. So I'd love to just get into a little bit of background about you. So, I've learned that you've had such an amazing career, helping people with their health and weight loss and working with physicians and personal training and everything like that. So, but I know that this maybe wasn't something that you did your whole life, right? This is something you kind of got into. So what was that like for you? What was What inspired you to say, I want to help people be healthy?
So let me start with the fact that I got married when I was pretty young, about 24. I had my first baby when I was 25, and I was married to a physician, and I helped him to establish his practice, and I ran his practice, and I did that for we were married for about 25 years. When I decided that I was coming up on turning 50, and I was looking at my life and saying, is this what I want to do the rest of my life? Was I happy? And I knew I wasn't. I needed to make some kind of a change. So I decided to get divorced and look at my life and kind of do a do-over, as they say. And I think everybody who is suffering needs to realize that they can make changes. And it's just, you have to be really brave or really miserable, one or the other. And I decided that I was just going to find something that I enjoyed doing every day. And I loved going to the gym. When I went to the gym, I kind of woke up and felt alive. I felt physically strong. I felt emotionally strong. I felt spiritually strong, just feeling my own strength. And I know you're a boxer. That must really feel like you must feel very powerful when you're boxing, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Very empowering. Good word.
And when I did that leg press, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can push all that weight. It's like I felt strong. So what I decided to do was to follow what made me feel really good. And that was, I decided to become a personal trainer. So here I was, a 50-year-old woman, single now, and I'm going to personal training school with all these 19 and 20-year-old guys with all their tattoos and their wife beater t-shirts, and there's me, this 50-year-old woman. And it was like a new world for me. And so as I went through this training, I took a very extensive personal training program because I had in the back of my mind that I wanted to help people who were like me, who were around 50, middle-aged, recapture their vitality. And I wanted to prospect physicians to send me their clients because I figured I had worked in the medical world. I had run a medical practice that if I needed to get the highest level of degree in personal training, not just a little weekend degree. So I was in school for 18 months, and it was really intensive. And like it was real, when you go back to school as an older person, you're learning with a different perspective. You really, let me tell you, I spent a lot of money on tutors when it came to all the math.
So much. There's so much of it. And anatomy.
Yeah, and learning about exercise testing and math, that was really challenging for me. But when I graduated, I went and got all kinds of certifications that the American College of Sports Medicine that would allow me to walk through the door of a medical practice and say, let me help your patients. And so one of the doctors who I approached actually turned the table on me. He said, I want to recruit you to come and work for me. And I said, I don't want to work in a medical office. I've been doing that. So I want you to send me your patients so that I can teach and train them. Well, he was a cardiologist who was changing his practice to be what's called an age management medical practice, where he was going to help people who were middle-aged kind of turn back the clock with preventive medicine, reversing heart disease and diabetes with nutrition and with exercise. And he wanted me to coach them. And I said, no. I said, you send me your patients. So he didn't. But every month he would call me and invite me back to his practice for a meeting. And I kept thinking, well, that's because he's going to send me clients. So it was about somewhere like 8, 9, 10 months when he finally wore me down and said, listen, you'll get healthcare benefits, you'll get a salary, for a personal trainer who's, got to get up every morning at, 4:30 in the morning to see 5 o'clock clients, oh, I could go to work at 8 o'clock. This is good. But he also offered me free Lululemon outfits every year. So that was like, okay, I'm in. But really, it was the greatest experience of my life professional experience, because I had 10 years of working with him. He was a renowned cardiologist who had studied Ayurvedic medicine, homeopathic medicine. He knew homeopathy. He'd even studied in the mountains in Peru with the shamans, but he became my mentor. And I learned so much from him. And he taught me how nutrition and exercise can really reverse the aging process. It was shocking what I learned, and it was shocking how I began to implement this with our patients. And I love the fact that every day I had a new patient. People flew in from all over the world. We worked with CEOs who had spent their life making money, and now they were in their late 50s or early 60s. And they said, I've given my life to my business. Now I want to renovate myself, which is what I've named my business since then, is renovate yourself. People wanted to have a chance to change their health. And so I learned from him so many secrets about how to stop inflammation, how to reverse diabetes and heart disease and digestive issues and weight loss issues. And I did this for 10 years, and he ended up hiring 3 other doctors. So I worked with 4 different doctors with 4 different specialties and personalities. And I really, I became really comfortable with doing exercise testing, body composition testing, and people would sit down with me. Our clients would sit down with me, and I would look at their blood work with them and look at their all their tests, and be able to tell them, based on their tests, what they needed to change about their life to hit their goals of health. And so I became incredibly confident in my coaching, because when you give somebody coaching and they follow it and they change their habits, it's reaffirming that the advice you're giving them is working. Mm-hmm. And it's very satisfying and gratifying to do that. So I ended up working with this team of doctors for 10 years. And it was, I met fabulous people. And then at the end of 10 years, this group of doctors decided to each go their own way. And so now I had the opportunity to say, well, what do I want to do? And in that moment, I began to say, you know what, I know all this stuff. I can teach this to private clients. But in Florida, as a personal trainer, if you do not have a degree that has the word nutrition in it, you better not say the word nutrition, because only registered dietitians or people with the word nutrition in their degree can say the word nutrition. Otherwise, you can be arrested or lose your license. So I went back to school for a year to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and became an integrative nutrition health coach. And I opened practice. And so now I had the offering of, I could do personal training, I could do health coaching, and I could offer people my services privately. And I've worked with some amazing people, had really wonderful relationships with my clients. I really love going out to people's homes and training them privately, or into their condos and working with them privately, or even I do a lot of work on Zoom across the country, private health coaching. Mm-hmm. And it was about 3.5 years ago when the company that was developing the Get Fit 21 challenge approached me and asked me if I would be one of their beta coaches. And I thought, oh, an online coaching opportunity, that's interesting. But truthfully, I thought it would be a little cheesy thing because I was working in this elite, high level medical practice. And I was thinking, how could they do this online, what I do? I mean, how could it be any good?
Yeah.
So they asked me to teach it exactly the way that they designed it, so that because I was going to be one of their beta coaches. I was shocked. I was flabbergasted that it wasn't a cheesy thing. It was impressive. And what I learned is that you can create um, layers of education with people with little bits of knowledge. And this 21-day program has allowed me to touch the lives of people all over the world. And there's a community that has been created, not just of the people who want to change their health and want to do it long distance through a program like this, but it's also put me in contact with people like you, Crystal, who are dedicated to helping other people, as I've created this mentorship for people who love helping other people. You know, my background prior to getting married, I was a school teacher. I
Oh,
taught
okay.
I taught elementary school, and then when my children were little, I helped to build a school, a private a Jewish day school, and I help people to see the value of this private school education, and I became president of the board of the school. And so my passion to educate people has now been translated into this personal education of helping people get healthy and figure out how to navigate the world.
Yes.
There's so much information out there that is conflicting.
Yes. It's not a lack of information that is the problem. Most definitely. It's the implementation. And I think you touched on it huge when you said it. It's the community and the way that the education is presented. It's not, here you go, here's everything, all spilled out in front of you. It's like you said, just little bits that get presented in small ways, and they're really easily implemented things that you can change, one day at a time. Today I'm going to do this different. Today I'm going to do this different. So I think there's this overwhelming amount of information out there. So what I loved when I, found you in this type of coaching program was that, in a nutshell, was that it's easy, it's simple, it's not all of this stuff all at once, and it's all in one place, and also has that community sense. So that's awesome. And I don't think I knew that you were that you had the background in school teaching and education. So that makes so much sense now that I know you, and I love the way you teach on webinars, and our conversations, and how I've learned from you so far. So that makes absolute sense. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about sort of that experience with working with the physicians, and like you said, how the diet and the lifestyle and these changes that we can make in our lives, no matter what age we are, can really affect greatly these systems in our body. And the couple of things that really stick out that I'd love to touch on today are of course the conversation of insulin resistance in our bodies, because I think that's such a important piece of our coaching, and also the importance of fiber. So I feel like if we talked about everything, we could be here for like 3 hours, and
Yes.
I'll just have to have you back on the podcast. So you explain it so well. If you just want to give us a little tidbit of information, kind of how that works, how the process works, and
Okay.
and what maybe metabolic health even means for people.
So let me just say that one of the reasons why this program is successful is it teaches habit change, because we do things every day out of habit without thinking. It's just, you get up in the morning and you eat the same breakfast every day, and you grab the same, whether you're having a bowl of cereal or whether you're having a bagel, and this habit is something that you do. And it's easy, it's familiar, it's comfortable. And to make a change that's going to impact your health, the habit has to become really obvious. It has to be just in front of you, easy. It has to be attractive. It has to be appealing. And it has to be really satisfying. Because if changing a habit is hard, it won't work. So the focus on this program is to replace your traditional breakfast with a high protein, fiber based meal that's a meal replacement. And why do we do that? Is one of the reasons is we know that in the morning when you eat your breakfast, the very first food that you put into your body does something to your blood sugar. As you chew, let's say you're eating that bagel for breakfast, you're chewing that bagel, it becomes glucose in your bloodstream. And that glucose is rushing to get into your cells to give you energy. We need glucose. We can get it from different sources of carbohydrates. But when you create a huge amount of glucose first thing in the morning, your body needs to produce insulin. Your pancreas produces this hormone called insulin, which acts like a key to open the cell to let the glucose into your cells. And everybody needs to be able, everybody who is healthy and normal produces a certain amount of insulin in response to the amount of glucose that you're consuming. What happens is if you're having a lot of glucose every day, meaning that you're eating a lot of carbohydrates, if you're somebody who eats a lot of bread, a lot of pasta, rice, you drink soda, maybe you even eat huge amounts of fruit, and you're not pairing it sufficiently with protein or with healthy fat, it spikes your glucose really high. It sends this rush of energy into your cells, which gives you quick energy, and it produces a huge amount of insulin because the more glucose you produce, the more insulin you produce. And why is that a problem? It's only a problem is if you do it day after day after day, and that insulin, when it's produced over and over and over again, it's almost like if you use a key to go into your house every day, you use that key and you use it over and over and over again. After a while, it might get a little bent and it doesn't work as well. After a while, your body stops responding to the insulin. It's like that key isn't working all of a sudden. And the insulin doesn't open the cells anymore. And the glucose, which is sugar, builds up in your bloodstream. And when it's building up in your bloodstream, this is when people start to become insulin resistant. If you are experiencing excess fat around your belly, that could be a sign of insulin resistance. But you're going to know that you're insulin resistant when you start having a lot of carbohydrate and sugar cravings. Every time you eat carbohydrates, you get this rush, you feel good, and then an hour later, you're hungry again. You want more. This is because your body is trying to process all this glucose. Now, what's the problem with this? Well, there's all kinds of problems. The first problem that people notice is they notice that they're gaining weight and that their fat storage is increasing. They're feeling this muffin top. They're noticing. And if anyone's gone through this quarantine and they binge on chips and cookies and they've just changed their diet and haven't exercised as much, they're going to notice that they're gaining weight. And one of the reasons that they're gaining weight is because when insulin is present in your bloodstream, it actually puts a lock on your fat cells. Your fat storage gets locked. You cannot burn that fat for energy. The only way to get rid of that fat is to have a pause between meals. People have talked about intermittent fasting. That's when they don't eat for a period of time. It sounds so hard. Fasting. Intermittent fasting isn't. It's the type of intermittent fasting that I teach is called 4-4-12, where you wait just 4 hours between breakfast and lunch. You can wait up to 6 hours, but in that time period when you're not eating, you use up all the circulating glucose in your body, and it gives a chance for the insulin to leave your body, to dissipate, because you cannot use that stored fat for energy. You go for a walk after a meal, and you might burn off some of that glucose, but you're not tapped into your fat stores. You're not burning fat unless you really let your body rest for 4 hours between a meal.
Yes, that's key. That's key. I love this one graphic that we show that you gave me. It's like, think of like a big tank truck that's carrying, fuel across the interstate. Here in Northwest Indiana, we see trucks like that all the time because I live like right on one of the busiest stretches of interstate in the world. But yeah, imagine like that, the big tanker has so much fuel in its truckload, but that truck can only run on the small tank of gas that he fills at the gas station to go from one spot to the other. So I love just sort of that concept of that's what happens when, you have too much insulin, is that truck driver can't use any of that fuel to go cross country. He has to keep fueling up at every gas station because he can't, his insulin levels are too high, essentially. He can't tap into that big tanker. So I love, pictures and mental images and stuff to really illustrate those kinds of things. So yeah.
Imagine that big tank full of gasoline that he's carrying to deliver to the gas station and to unload at the gas station. That's like the excess fat that we're carrying on our body that we cannot access when our insulin levels are high. So the only way to tap into all that extra tank of fuel is to wait to eat. Now, so many people say, I heard that eating 5 small meals a day is good. That's what I was taught when I went to personal training school, was that 5 small meals a day. But what I learned with my clients when I was doing personal training is they were getting muscle, but they were not shedding their fat because they were constantly feeding their bodies these small meals, constantly producing glucose, constantly producing insulin. So they never gave their body a chance to rest in between meals. Now, one of the wonderful things about this period, when you rest between meals, when you do not eat, you can drink fluids that don't have sugar in them. So it's, you can soothe that appetite with some liquid, like, a cup of coffee, tea, water, with a little squeeze of lemon in it. But what I have found is that when people do this for 1 week only, I had a client say this to me yesterday. He said, I lost 5 pounds in this week of intermittent fasting and following the Get Fit 21 program. He said, but the most exciting thing is I wake up in the morning and I don't feel pain in my body anymore. And I said, and why is that? Why don't I feel pain anymore? And this is a guy who's, I guess he's middle-aged, maybe late 40s, early 50s. When we have all this glucose running through our body, it's got to go somewhere. And where's it going? It is coating all of our organs. It is coating our cells. It is going into our joints. It's going into the cells in our brain. So there's a word for this. When sugar coats a cell, it's called glycation. Have you ever heard that word?
No.
Glycation comes from the root word glucose. There's me. I have to teach this. Imagine an apple is a cell, and now imagine a candy apple with a sugar coating on it. That red sugar coating or that caramel coating, that sticky sugar. Imagine every cell in your body being coated with sugar. That is glycation. So can you imagine now, can you understand why diabetes, which is high sugar in your blood, and Alzheimer's are sister diseases? because when every cell in your brain is being coated with sugar, how do you get those neurotransmitters to send messages?
Wow.
And arthritis, the buildup of sugar in your joints, which is just causing inflammation, the buildup of sugar on the inside of your arteries. When people talk about plaque and heart blockages, when you start to change your diet and lower your insulin levels and do this intermittent fasting, people's blood pressure improves because their arteries are not so coated with plaque anymore, and they become more flexible. And this is a real game changer. This is the most strategic anti-aging program that you can undertake. I mean, people talk about all different concoctions to slow down the aging process. The biggest solution is just to do intermittent fasting and make sure your meal will hold you for those 4 to 6 hours. And that's what I want to talk about. What do you need to eat in that meal?
Right. Because I think people are saying, like, I don't know that I could go 4 to 6 hours between a meal. I get so hungry, right? Because they're probably eating a bagel in the morning. And so by 10 a.m., they're like, their brain is screaming for more sugar. So yeah, what is the strategy to not be starving all day?
So this is the strategy. Number one, you have to prioritize protein. Protein at every meal is crucial. It's crucial because it keeps you satisfied, but it's also crucial because it repairs muscle. If you're doing exercise and you're not taking in protein at your meals, you can't repair that muscle. You're tearing down muscle fibers and you can't grow muscle. You know, you see people who go to the gym every day and are like trying to lose weight, and they don't look healthy because they're not building a healthy toned muscle. But also, when you build muscle and you repair muscle, you feel better, you feel stronger. But when you eat protein, there is something called the thermic effect of food. Have you ever heard that term?
Yes.
The thermic effect of food. When you eat protein, it stimulates your metabolism like by 30%. You increase the burning of energy in your body. And so when you eat protein first thing in the morning, if you have a good protein breakfast, whether you're eating eggs or you're drinking a delicious protein blended shake, I mean, you're getting that metabolism boost first thing in the morning. So that's the first thing, is every meal, 3 meals a day, you should have protein. And, people ask how much protein. When you're on a journey to improve your health, when you're on a journey to maybe lose weight and get some balance in your body, I like to say, if you're a normal size, an average size person, 30 grams of protein per meal is a decent amount of protein. It's not too much. Some people say, well, I ate 1 egg. Well, that's 6 grams of protein. That's not enough. So getting sufficient protein is not only going to trigger your metabolism, but it's going to keep you full. So that's the first thing. The second concept is you want to control your carbohydrates, not eliminate carbohydrates. We need carbohydrates in our diet, but control your carbohydrates by choosing lower glycemic carbohydrates. What do I mean by that? Well, there are people, when people think of carbohydrates, what do you think of? You think of
crackers, cookies, sugar. You just think with sugar, right? Bread, pasta, rice.
Rice, right. And typically those are processed foods that are refined carbohydrates that go into your bloodstream really fast and send a lot of sugar into those cells quickly, producing a lot of insulin. So when I say eating a low glycemic carbohydrate, I'm going to talk about vegetables. They've got a lot of fiber in them. And this is really important because fiber slows down the processing of glucose. If you are going to eat a grain, let's say you're going to eat oatmeal, don't open that little packet of processed oats that also has brown sugar in it, but take the time to make steel cut oats that has extra fiber in it. And that will keep you fuller longer, the fiber in it, and it forms like a gel in your stomach so that your food that you eat kind of slows down as it goes into your cells. That glucose slows down. So eating fruits that are high in fiber is and lower in sugar, like berries, that's ideal. But eating fruits, if you're on a journey to lose body fat and to slow down your blood sugar spikes, staying away from tropical fruits like pineapple is going to be important. I tell you, I had the most amazing client when I worked in this doctor's office. He was a bodybuilder. He was a gorgeous man with beautiful muscle, but he had a belly, and he came to our practice because he said, I can't get rid of this belly. When we did his blood work, he was a diabetic. Now, he was a dentist. He was a pediatric dentist, so he was a medical professional. And he thought he knew what he was doing. And he was taking a protein shake twice a day because he was working out twice a day, but he couldn't get rid of his belly. And he said, I'm eating perfectly. And I said, well, let's look at your blood work. And when I looked at his blood work, he was a full-blown diabetic. He was shocked. And I said, let's dissect what you're putting in that shake. He was putting in pineapple juice every morning into a shake, and he was adding fresh fruit into the shake, and he was adding protein powder, and then he was drinking it, and it was spiking his blood sugar first thing every single day. And I said to him, you have got to stop it with the pineapple. He said to me, I hate you. Because this was his habit. This is what he was used to doing. I said, well, you can hate me, but do you want to not be a diabetic, and do you want to get rid of your belly? He said, yes. So in about 90 days, we changed his habit, and he used water in his protein shake. He didn't put fruits in. I taught him how to add fiber and flax seeds and maybe add vegetables and greens. And he was like, he looked amazing. He felt amazing. And he would tease me whenever I'd pick up the phone and he'd call. He would say, I hate you. But I knew that he really appreciated me. So, okay.
We're doing our job when people feel that way towards us, right?
Right. So controlling carbohydrates, and one of the other ways that you can control your appetite and control carbohydrates is to make sure you have a healthy fat in every single meal. So when I say healthy fats, people say, what do you mean by that? Fats typically that, like avocado, you could add an avocado to a protein shake or to a meal, and that healthy fat is going to slow down the processing of your carbohydrates. Nuts and seeds are healthy fats. So if you're going to make a bowl of steel cut oats for breakfast, I would say don't just have oats for breakfast alone, because that's a lot of carbohydrate, even though there's fiber in it. Add nuts and seeds to it, because that fat puts a damper on the speed at which the sugar enters the cells. But I'm also going to say you can add a scoop of protein powder, whether it's a whey-based protein powder or whether it's a plant-based protein powder, and stir that into your oatmeal, and it will naturally sweeten it and give you more protein in that meal. And if you want to have a little fruit in that meal, what's the best fruit? You could add some blueberries, some raspberries. You want to avoid dried fruits because they're very high in sugar. I think they're really good for you. They have a lot of minerals and vitamins. But if you're on a journey to reverse diabetes, reverse high blood sugar, reverse the storage of fat for this period until you get to where your goals are. Stay away from dried fruits. Stay
Yeah.
away from putting fruits into a protein shake, because when you grind them up in a blender, they become liquefied. You might as well be drinking Coca-Cola. Well,
Right.
but it's
I
like
I
juice.
often
You want to avoid drinking fruit juices because it sends the sugar into your cells really quickly, and then
right.
that produces more insulin.
Hmm.
So,
Wow. Probably mind blowing for a lot of people watching and listening to this right now, thinking, "Oh, wow, I've been eating fruit for breakfast for years. I thought that was healthy,
well,
right? Fruit's healthy."
fruit is healthy. If you're eating it, don't drink it. Or if
Yeah.
you're eating an amount of it, it depends on where you are in your health. If your blood sugar is normal and you are, you don't have issues with high blood sugar, high insulin, there's no reason you can't have fruit in the morning. There's no reason not to. But when you add it to your shake, what you're doing is you're causing a spike in your blood sugar. But, people say bananas are bad. Bananas aren't bad. If you're got normal blood sugar and you're not trying to lose weight, eating a banana, it's full of potassium, it's got some nice fiber in it, but eating it alone is not good. Having a little bit of banana. Have you ever seen people eat banana with peanut butter on it?
Yeah.
I love that combination because peanut butter, an organic peanut butter, is a healthy fat and a healthy protein. And if you put it on a banana, it slows down the sugar entering your body. So that's why it's the combination that's good.
Yes. What a game changer for people. And I know we've talked about this before, but I feel like, growing up in the 90s and, being an overweight kid during that period of time, like the buzz was low fat, right? Everything was low fat, low fat ice cream, low fat yogurt, low fat cookies, whatever, and it was fat just gets such a bad rap, that people, I think, well, I can't eat fat. I'm going to get fat. Fat's going to make me fat, right? That it's training people how to think differently
Well, it's
and educating.
with the new keto craze, people are really into fat now. People hear about the keto diet, and I don't teach a diet. What I'm teaching is a healthy lifestyle. I'm not saying I'm not endorsing one diet or another, but the concept of the keto diet is really great to get people from eating so many carbohydrates and getting them having protein and some fat in their diet. What I'm opposed to is people eliminating the fresh foods like vegetables, because they feel like they are, they're carbohydrates. No, we need the vegetables. We need the vitamins and minerals and the fiber. Fiber does something amazing. When you add fiber to your diet, you are going to soak up excess toxins in your body. You're going to soak up excess hormones in your body. You're going to soak up excess fat, and you're going to carry it out in your poop. And, when people increase the fiber in their diet, they increase the amount of times that they poop. And when I used to work in this medical practice, I have to tell you a funny story. I was very fortunate to select a couple other personal trainers to work with me in the practice. And I loved my colleagues, and I kind of mentored them and taught them, but they would listen to me talk to clients on the phone. And I would ask about, how many times a day do you poop? What does your poop look like? And they'd be hysterical, falling on the floor when I'd be talking to clients. But you know what? That's how you tell if you're healthy. If you have nicely formed long poops that I tell you, that come out easy, it's because if you have enough fiber in your diet, it's going to carry all the garbage out. But if you don't, this is when your body becomes toxic. When, if you look at the diets of people who are dealing with diagnoses of cancer, some of that is just an unfortunate straw that they drew. But a lot of times it has to do with their diet. We know that increasing your fiber intake lowers your risk of prostate cancer and of breast cancer. Why is that? Because it's soaking up excess hormones and carrying it out of the body. The toxins, the pollutants in our water and our air, foods and the pesticides. If you can take in more fiber into your diet, you can soak up these excess things that are causing these toxic things that could cause not only heart disease, but also cancer. And so I am a firm believer in the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Society, American Diabetes Society, all agree you need a minimum of 35 grams of fiber to 50 grams of fiber a day.
Wow.
It's very hard to get that amount of fiber in your food without increasing your caloric intake. So I'm a firm believer there's certain supplements that I like to include. I mean, in fact, people think that I'm a genius because I've changed people's blood sugar so quickly. But, I use a couple different fiber products that help people and give them an advantage. It's not that I'm so smart, but that, my recommendation is to use these fiber products that are in the physician's desk reference, that are certified to lower cholesterol and to balance blood sugar and to pull toxins out of your body. So,
awesome.
There's so many little habits we can change just by adding a supplement to your diet that has fiber, just like changing one thing in a meal. One little thing can make a difference.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of craze out there, a lot of crazes out there with like the juice cleanse and this cleanse and that cleanse. And when I was in high school, I knew a lot of girls who, I don't know what, I think it's called the master cleanse. Have you heard of this? Where it's like lemon juice and maple syrup.
And cayenne pepper,
Cayenne pepper. Oh, and I'm just, the more I've learned.
It's not a bad thing, let me say. I know people have done it. If you do it for a short time, it's, people like to experiment with their bodies and like to try things. I will not poo-poo the master cleanse. I've seen it be a trigger for people to make a change. Different people need different things. That's not my cup of tea to do it, but I have helped people do it because they wanted to do it. And I've had to do it for a short amount of time. When I went back to school to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, I learned about 100 different dietary theories. And that's one of the things that they teach. And it kept me open-minded.
Interesting.
We have to stay open-minded to different strategies for different people. When I heard about that master cleanse first, I had the exact same reaction you did. No, not good. But you know what? Different strokes for different folks. And if you experiment with your own body, you can get more clear on what works for you.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. And with that, like you said, it's something you could try once or twice, but the most important thing is really finding the lifestyle, finding what works for you on a day-to-day basis that you could do without thinking, right? This is your habit now, just like brushing your teeth or, whatever. You get in your car, you turn your car on, you drive, you don't think about turning your turn signal on and putting your foot on the gas. I mean, these are things that you just do. And, but when you started to learn how to drive, you're like, okay, I gotta go right for the gas, left for the brake, and, just got to remember that. People have to remember that when you're learning something new, there's going to be struggle and you're going to fail a couple times. But, the more you do it every day, it just becomes your lifestyle. And that's such a key.
That's what the Get Fit 21 program is teaching. And it's reinforced. What I love about it, that's different than anything I've ever done before, is that for 21 days in a row, you're being held accountable. We post selfies with our shake, with our meals. We post selfies of our exercise. And when you've got a coach watching you for 21 days in a row and making slight recommendations, cheering you on every time you're doing something right, giving you thumbs up, giving you love, giving you positive reinforcement and encouragement, that habit that might have been hard the first time you did it, by the third, fourth, or fifth day, is starting to be very satisfying. You're getting a charge.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I teach in the program that I love is when people were accustomed to doing something every day, like they go to work and there's donuts in the break room, and they always took a donut and coffee. That was what they did every morning. Well, I teach in the Get Fit 21, go into the break room, take a picture of that donut and post it and say, I did not eat that donut today. Because I feel that the satisfaction of your community of people in your Get Fit 21 challenge, all cheering you on, is so much more rewarding than the satisfaction of biting into that donut and getting that sugar charge.
Yeah.
It lasts a whole lot longer to have the pats on the back and the hugs and the love that people give you for sticking to your commitment to yourself. And what happens over time is you might need to take that picture every single day, 21 days, and say, I didn't eat it again, and I didn't eat it again. But by the end of 21 days, when you look down and your pants are not tight on you, your blouse is not bursting, you look in the mirror and you feel like one of my challengers said after her first week in the Get Fit 21 challenge, she bought a new bathing suit. And, everybody in the group applauded her because buying a bathing suit is so stressful. So it's the reward of being able to see that we can change in a short amount of time with intensive focus for 21 days. Many people will repeat the challenge over and over and over again because they want that reinforcement. They want to feel good. They want to continue on their journey. But for some people, it's just a way to launch their healthy lifestyle. And after 21 days, they say, I've got this. You've taught me what I need to know. We give them a lot of guides, materials, and things to understand, how to make healthy choices. And Crystal, meeting you has been such a joy because one of the things that you've brought to the Get Fit 21 challenge is your playfulness. And one of the things that's important is, we teach exercise is like we encourage people to do a minimum of 30 minutes of exercise a day. But when I met you, I kind of made that shift of we need to play 30 minutes a day. We need to have fun with our bodies and just not sitting in front of the computer all day and sitting at your desk all day. You need to get out and move and feel good. And that's really important. And it's been such a pleasure to work with you in the Get Fit 21 program. And
Thank you.
Who could be coached by you would be very blessed because you pay attention to people and give them the reinforcement they need and the encouragement they need. And it's fun to work with you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And I'm very passionate about it. When I get up in the morning, health, wellness, all of it that's what I live and breathe every day. It's part of my life. And, I'm excited to share it with other people. And I think, and I hope that they can sense that excitement in me when I talk to people about it, and help people through it. Definitely. Yeah.
I know you bring a very playful spirit into the Get Fit 21 challenge. And who doesn't want to play? All work and no play, right?
Right. Yeah. And we were just talking, before we hopped on this call about one of the ladies who's doing the challenge with us, and she's been getting out in her garden and, just being able to do that and trying something new with her life that she had never done before. Like she was like, this isn't, something I would have ever done, but she has the stamina and the flexibility and the endurance to go out in her yard and tend a garden and get up and down and move things around. I mean,
she said to me, I'm digging in the dirt. She goes, I'm not an outside person. But what is so cool is not only does she feel good doing it, but now she sees the beautiful flowers and vegetables growing in her garden. She's getting that reward, which is such a metaphor for what this program is. If you can get grounded with your own health, you can really blossom.
Yes.
And harvest incredible fruits, because you don't even know how good your life can be when you feel good if you've been feeling less than optimal.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Oh, so amazing. So amazing. So we have good news, everyone. If you are like, I want to do this, I want to make the lifestyle changes, sounds like something I can totally do, because it is. Believe me, anyone can do this. We're starting our next challenge June 29th, right? Is the Monday we're going to start, but that weekend, pageant weekend for me, guys, June 27th, this is Indiana, we'll be sort of getting things started. So I would just love for all of you to take advantage of this opportunity. It's summertime. There's lots of different things out there, going on. Maybe, like, I don't know if we're even going back to barbecues and picnics and stuff like that. But, it's a great time to really just hone in on your health and make some changes to what you're doing, and really think about like the things in your life that you want to do to play. What are these goals? What are these dreams that you have that you want to be able to do? So I want to offer sort of a fun giveaway for the first 5 people. I've got more than 5 spots. I've got about 10 spots available left, but the first 5 people who contact me and just want to get a conversation started. It's not, you don't have to commit. You'll be entered to win a fun little summer getaway, giveaway. I'm not giving away the vacation.
Listen, there's no way.
I wish. It's more of a staycation package. So, you can find me here, of course, on Facebook, Crystal Kadar Quagliera, or you can follow me, The Playful Trainer. You can find my Facebook there, or you can find me on Instagram at The Playful Trainer. On YouTube, if you just want to leave a comment, we can get a conversation started there. And just talk about your goals and what's going to get you healthy here in the next couple of months.
So, Crystal, I look forward to working with you on this next challenge. We'll work together and make it great for anybody who joins you.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Barbara. I appreciate your time and, you getting up and sharing all of your knowledge with us. And guys, if you loved Barbara today on this podcast, like, she is like a co-coach with me. So, you get access to her and all of her knowledge, which, I mean, to me is priceless. Just, you can't put a price tag on that. Just really an awesome opportunity to have you on my show today. Thank you so much. Like I said, we could probably talk for 3 hours about, or more about all the things. So, I'll probably have to have you back on.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Anytime I get to play with you is good.
Awesome. Good. Well, thank you so much. And of course, remember to like and share this podcast with a friend. Don't keep it a secret. We have such great information here to share with people. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on Ron Harlow Media. And, we also have all these great sponsors that, of course, make it possible to share these programs with you on Ron Harlow Media. You can catch Ron Harlow. He does the challenge with us, and he's down about 16 pounds. And so Erin Hollis, the cheeky mom here on Ron Harlow Media, she is down I know over 12 pounds now since she has.
These guys are doing great.
Yeah. And it's easy, it's not.
I love Ron's sense of humor. He makes me laugh. I mean, I literally laugh out loud when I read some of his posts. It's really fun to be in the group with him.
Yes.
And Erin, I love to watch her with her boxing and her sweating. She's really kicking butt.
Yes. And it was great. We had her on the podcast last week with Martha, another friend of ours who's doing the challenge, and they were having this great conversation about, not only are they getting healthy, but they're also inspiring their families to get healthy. And, they have like preteen and teenage kids in their house. And so managing, health from a perspective of family and being a role model and inspiration to other people to be healthy it's awesome. Again,
it's contagious in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Barbara. I'll let you go, and we will be seeing you later. Remember to contact me if you want to get in this group and get in for that giveaway. All right.
All right.
Stay playful.
Bye-bye.